Hi, I'm Michael Mandel. You're watching Double Talk. I'm here with my special co-host. You've seen him before. His name is Bob Diven.
Hi.
He's here. Are you looking at the camera?
Where are we
I don't know. You're looking in the middle one. Really? You got to look in the middle one. There you go. You know, this is going to excite many of our viewers because when you look in their eyes, they get all fluttery or fluffy or something, and that's a good feeling. I'm glad Bob's here. We are going to, Mark is over in Santa Fe at the Santa Fe Film Festival, where his flick called Lowriders, a tense, moody depiction of life in New Mexico, is a 7-minute movie that will hopefully win something. That's always good.
Go Mark.
When Bob's here, we will still talk about issues, but I like to talk about what Bob's doing because he pretty much is you're a local issue. You are not that we're
I'm a
trying,
local problem.
Not that the city council is dealing with you yet, but you have been you're very busy all the time. You create many things. We brought on, I imagine everybody who reads the newspaper sees your cartoons every Sunday. Perhaps there's many people who don't see the paper, either because they're still in the pen or they don't live here. But since we get national viewership of this show, as well as international, because now with everything else, we have such a broad spectrum. So you're working on cartoons every week.
Every week for the Sunday edition of the Sun News. Been doing that now, wrapping up my 6th year.
Yes,
of doing that.
This one was done during what?
Oh, during the big freeze. Remember that, folks? When
your pipes
the
burst?
rolling blackouts. This is before the pipes were bursting. This is when we were starting to lose power.
El Paso Electric Company sort of. I lost electric. That guy say, what does that say? We go back one.
I can't feel my
go
fingers.
Back
The
one.
little
Can't
hamster.
feel my fingers. The poor little hamster.
The little hamster on the hamster wheel, generating power for you and me.
A lot of our power plant was frozen. That was why we didn't have electricity, because it's run by water, which turns to ice when it's really cold. Okay, let's go to the next one. That could be any time.
Yeah,
that's all the time.
Been a drought year for the farmers.
That was the spring runoff.
Especially up in Hatch. Yep.
Yeah, and sometimes they flood. So what's this one about?
That was the controversy about the discrepancy in the number of educational funding units that the local school district was claiming. And so I got to learn about educational funding units, which is the state formula.
You know about things that are, that's a picture of Bob Diven, but do you know about little things like funding units?
I know the phrase. I know the term now.
The phrase, huh?
I know the term.
So we get funding units based on how many people go to school, right?
Oh, it's a formula depending on the kind of student. They're assigned a different
kind of student?
Type of student assigned a different point value. You have special needs students. You have advanced students.
Oh, that's right.
There's a whole formula up there. There's a formula.
I'm getting hungry looking at that sandwich picture. So let's go to the next one. Oh, let's see. What is Pierce? Pierce is I believe, a representative.
Yeah, he started out by, he couldn't do an article without mentioning the timber job killing spotted owl, and then that wasn't enough, and he started talking about the job killing sagebrush lizard, which was another critter being studied that turned out only exists in a very small area, and it didn't cause any problems at all. So I decided to pick on him.
So because
he apparently liked to pick on animals as reasons for policy.
Right, that it kills business. Poor little animals. We love those little animals. When Mark is on the show, you know, he always shows pictures of little furry creatures. Of course, a lizard isn't a furry creature, so it doesn't matter.
No, but the goat has fur.
The goat is, yeah.
Goat hair,
also
has hair.
Only one of them can you eat that tastes good.
I don't know about that.
Spotted owl, maybe. This is always relevant. In fact, just driving over to the studio complex here, I saw somebody who didn't stop at the stop place, went a little bit over because she was a little busy on the phone. This is a constantly occurring problem.
I walked through a crosswalk this morning, made more dangerous by one person at the line, at the stop sign, four-way stop, was on their cell phone and wasn't paying attention.
The other problem is when mostly they're taking turns, and they take those turns really slowly. What I've noticed, though, that people who are embarrassed about talking on their phones and still do it, they keep their elbows really close to their chest. Did you ever notice that?
I saw
They're
one
like
this morning, had their phone open down, like holding at the bottom of the steering wheel, and was just sort of shouting into it, like that. La, la,
Oh,
la,
that's
la.
good.
That's, I guess that counts as hands-free if you're doing this.
Hands-free shouting. Actually, you know, it is not necessarily legal to use your speakerphone.
Bad news, folks. We can't really multitask.
No, we can't even
really do
single
two things
task
at once.
These guys couldn't multitask, and that's why they died out, because they couldn't live.
Because dinosaurs were on cell phones when the meteorite struck.
And they going, hey, honey, did you see what's... And then they get hit by it, right? What is this? This isn't a cartoon, is it?
This is a street painting. It's pastels on brick in El Paso at the 2011 Chalk the Block Festival, held last weekend in downtown El Paso.
There's a contest.
50 artists, students and professionals, a mix, competing for a grand prize, best of show prize, and then there were also first, second, third places in the student category, and they had two different groups of plaza artists. San Jacinto Plaza artists competed for first, second, third, and I was part of the Arts Festival Plaza artists between the museum and the Plaza Theater, and we were only competing with everybody else for the best of show prize.
So this is best of show?
This is the best of show winner.
That's pretty darn realistic, I would say.
Well, I had
that's
10 hours.
Like
10 hours to do
10
that
hours?
painting.
How long did it take you? 10 hours.
10 hours.
It did?
I had 11
10
hours. I actually finished an hour ahead of time.
Wow. You know, probably if you left the shovel off, you could have gotten done, you know, in time for it.
If I left some of those pebbles off of there, too.
Those pebbles. Don't you just have a standard stamp that stamps pebbles on things? Because you do these every weekend at the downtown mall, right?
Every Saturday at the downtown Las Cruces Farmers and Crafts
Griggs,
Market.
Is that the street? Griggs and...
On Griggs for now, till they open up the
new one?
The new part of the street will be shifting down, so I'll have to find a new location.
The new part of the street has opened. It
has opened, but they haven't shifted the farmers market yet.
That's going to be something. All you have to do is say...
happen in November, so that's coming up soon.
So that's pretty soon. We now have the first traffic circle in Las Cruces. I don't know if it's the first traffic circle in New Mexico.
No, Albuquerque's had them, I know.
They have?
Yes, I've driven on one in Albuquerque.
Wow. So that's where you learned how to do that.
I didn't do so good on this one. I did something dumb the other day.
It's a pretty tight circle, I think. It's not easy to do that circling.
I had the right of way and I yielded.
Oh my God!
It's the Midwestern in me.
Is it the Midwest, or is it just that you're too nice to ever run for mayor?
That's it.
Are you too nice?
That'll
to
be my
run for mayor?
campaign slogan.
I'm too nice to
Bob
run for
Diven,
mayor.
too
Write
nice
me
for
in.
mayor.
See, he's an artist. We could put mayor underneath that, because you know the mayoral election is coming up. You probably are aware of that.
I am aware of
yes,
it, Michael.
As well as everybody else. We here at the show are aware of it, and we have finally got the three mayoral candidates to come into the studio complex here, and do a show. Yes, it might not be that complex to you. There's the three mayoral candidates. They're dancing around our screen. Let's see, Ken
Miyagashima,
Dolores, and Michael Huerta. They will be in the studio. We're shooting it, I think, this coming week, and they will be on next Friday. We were filmed at 6:30, and it's going to be a little different because, well, they're going to be face-to-face. They're usually ear-to-ear, right, because they're sitting like this. And they're usually getting questions, but our sometimes co-host Mark Steffen will be moderating. The candidates will be able to ask each other questions, which I think is nice because it's slightly confrontational, which I think is what you need when you're actually listening to candidates and you go, what? Do you ever do that? Do you ever listen to any of these candidates and go, what?
Yeah.
That's not that Midwest, but that's more New York. What? I'm walking here. So they will be on. We can't
Midwest is, would you like some more macaroni and cheese? We have plenty.
That's it. Are we going to have macaroni and cheese? We'll ask the producer, are you going to offer these guys macaroni and cheese with a little bit of chili just to keep it spicy? So they're going to be here. they'll be asking questions to each other. I like that part. A question, that's it. I think they're letting Mark do the emceeing because they know I never give anybody else a chance to speak. And I guess that's the whole point.
Oh, that's hardly true.
See,
I snuck in something right there.
You got in there? Was that in the script?
No.
I don't follow the scripts. That's why I can't do plays. No. So that should be good. So it's the first time we're going to show it. It will be Friday at 6:30, and we will be showing it
6 other times.
6 or 5 other times. 5 or 6 other times. Take a look at our website, which is right here. No, it's going to come up here probably. Las Cruces, there it is, .com. It's not Las Cruces Channel 98, but it is. And it'll probably be on YouTube. You can put it on YouTube afterwards?
Yes.
Okay, it'll be on YouTube. So that's pretty good.
It'll be on the website too.
Well, there you go. Now you know. If you don't catch it during the many times it's going to air, you'll be able to see it before, I believe it's November 8th, right? Isn't the election day November 8th?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know early voting has begun.
Yes, it's just started yesterday, and they had a good showing. You can vote either at City Hall, and weekends, I think, at the library. So there's plenty of places. Make sure you vote. It's always good to vote for a mayoral candidate, and that kind of helps you be part of the community. And when it comes time to complain and carp about things, it's partially your fault, because this way you take the blame.
We're all in this together, folks.
You know, people hate government, and therefore they take it out on the government by not going and voting, right? That doesn't really matter, because that's what the government wants you to do. Get there and vote and stay active. And what do we got, a minute or 2 minutes before we have to?
Minute and a half.
Minute and a half. Take it to the streets. You know, we had Occupy Wall Street here in New Mexico. Did you go to any of those?
No.
You just go to Tea Party things, don't you? That's because at least the Tea Party has a menu, which is tea, and Occupy Wall Street has no menu.
I have not yet attended Occupy Wall Street. I have attended Tea Party things.
It might be over by now.
Oh, there'll be more.
But in a way,
you
know, both of those events or groups are doing something, which is taking it to the streets. We do need government to work, and we all want to do. Everybody thinks they don't need government because things are going fine as it is. Well, you know, things aren't going fine. Not only that, they wouldn't be going at all if there weren't a government, at least even trying to botch it.
Believe me, we need government.
Yes, because one of the reasons is, get those people off cell phones while they're driving. It's a hazard. Get those people from speeding past red lights and speeding through those red light cameras and getting tickets. No, there's reason. You wouldn't even have a road to speed on and get tickets if it weren't for government. We wouldn't even be here if it weren't for government, because they take care of our airwaves. Apparently not well enough, because we're here. But we're going to take a break to see if we can come back here.
Well, no government is perfect.
That's true. There's flaws, but we still like it. We will be back and see you after this announcement from people who are actually paying to have you see the show. And we're back. I'm Michael Mandel. Who are you?
I'm Bob Diven.
You better put it on the thing. I could put our glasses here too. Oh man, I can't see a thing. That's why I wear glasses. I don't know why you were. Oh, you do a lot of fine work. You were here just finishing your cartoon because you work under a deadline, just like this show does, because our deadline is to end when the show does. And that usually works out. And there's a lot of things going on in New Mexico that are exciting. Actually, do we put that up there? Oh, it's going to be we're going to work on that last, but I want to talk about your cartoon that you're working on, but you don't want to give it away, right?
No,
don't give it away.
I can say it has to do with the spaceport.
The spaceport. We're going to get to the spaceport because we put our pictures on backwards. Unless you want to grab the spaceport picture. You got it? The spaceport was a economic stimulus thing. Isn't that cool? and it was started by Richardson. And at the time, I believe all the people, see, that's Richardson and Richard Branson, but that's not the CBS. So there's Bill Richardson, Dickie Branson. That's what we call him.
You know him better than I do.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm a virgin. Anyway, that's the that's the Virgin Galactic thing. So that has been in the works for a couple of years, and it's finally done. And they recently had a ceremony because it's actually going to start to gear up, right?
Well,
you know more about this than I do.
The main building was dedicated. The main building that's going to house Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic, which is the primary occupant, the main contracted occupant for the spaceport.
Right, and he's the one that really was the incentive for the whole thing, the fact that he was behind this and trying to get something where he can charge pretty much, what, $200,000 a trip?
I think it's 250 grand for trips into space on the spaceship.
250?
250.
I think I could get him for
spaceship.
200. Do you want?
You might.
I can get
on
you
eBay,
one.
maybe on
I can
eBay.
get you one for 200,000, and you save 50,000. You could probably use that for something. I don't know,
Yeah.
dinner. Go out to dinner.
But they're still finishing up the main runway, and then they're going to build the visitor center and pave the road into it.
But they really don't need visitors, do they? One of the things I
It's
heard.
gotten through a lot of hurdles. I'm
Yeah,
impressed.
it's been, and so Susanna Martinez and Steve Pierce were there, I think this weekend.
Cheering it on.
Cheering it on, taking taking credit for the stuff that they did. But earlier this year, when Susanna Martinez got into power, she actually fired everybody.
Fired the entire board.
And almost
space
cut
port.
their funding, I think. Really tried to cut their funding. And here we have something which is both private and public funds. This is what government's for, to push things that private
New
companies.
technologies, emerging technologies, take some risks
We no
that
longer
might
have
benefit the entire state.
the state or more. We no longer have a shuttle program. We need something to go after space, which I understand is up for grabs. Nobody really owns space yet.
Apparently, if you hurry, you can claim the moon.
Well, I
if
hear
you do.
I hear they're planning
But I think
on
you have
China.
to go there.
I
You
have.
have to go there to claim it.
I've already mooned people, and I
Right, but
claimed
nobody's
it, but that's not
claimed
the
that.
same thing. But
Nobody's
to-
stuck a flag in that.
I will verify to that. No flags in my moon. But we're not talking about me or my moon. We're talking about the moon, actually, the moon. And America thinks that China could start claiming things, land portions of the moon. What would that do if they had parts of the moon? They could mine it for valuable moon dust, which we know has, it's probably dust. You know, if you want moon dust, West Mesa. Pretty much, I'm guessing the same
Well, the
thing.
moon's just a chunk of the Earth anyway.
Yeah.
Now I have to. Now, because of this story, I have to go look up what in the world the moon is composed of.
Well, according to
I mean, what's up there to mine? I don't know that yet.
Wallace and Gromit, it's cheddar cheese, I believe. I think it's cheddar, or is it Cheshire cheese? Cheshire cheese.
Well, then it's well aged, so I guess it's worth going up
It
there
is
for.
very good cheese, if it were. That's why all those holes are there, because people get their little Ritz crackers, dip into the moon, and eat the moon cheese.
That's why the Chinese moon rocket will look so much like a cracker.
Not only that, but you know, China is not known for their cheese eating or cheese producing abilities, and I think by taking over the moon, they would actually really have a great source of cheese for their people.
It's probably a part of a conspiracy because they know that we're going to want to buy all that cheese. We're going to be buying Chinese moon cheese.
And we are a cheese-loving nation.
This goes ahead. Unchallenged.
Yes. So, and we want to make sure there's no lead paint or zinc
Look
in
into
their
that,
cheese.
Representative Pierce.
See what the
Congressman
moon
Pierce.
has.
Look into that.
Yes, Representative Pierce. Either way, it works. And
I realized that after I falsely
after you
corrected myself.
corrected yourself. You know, you could have a new statement: "Pierce the moon," and that would be a way of taking it over. At least I amused somebody here. That's a little comforting. I think there is, we do want to take over the moon because it's strategic in terms of defense. If you can aim from the moon, everybody who sees the moon, right, at some point at night, you can attack people at night when they're not looking. They're looking up at the moon, all of a sudden bombs are coming at you. That's not too good. You
can attack all those people making out late at night.
That's right. We could, this would be good for the religious right, where you don't want to see people making out in their cars. You can just focus on the people looking up at the moon and spooning to the moon, and do some sort of freeze ray or like sterilization ray.
We could stop howling tomorrow. We could stop 90% of
howling dogs
tomorrow,
and as well as keep vampires at bay, which
werewolves.
Werewolves.
Woolworth? Was I trying to say that werewolves will no longer be a problem?
We usually call our werewolves 5 and dime. That's a lot easier to do. But did you? I know you're an avid fan of Sun News, and you read everything in there. Did you read how this guy is making inflatable hotels? Did you?
Yes.
Inflatable hotels, either
inflatable space hotels.
Space hotels to. Okay, I shouldn't laugh because I'll probably end up going to one. Apparently, you cannot wear goth clothes because of all the spikes in it. That would be unfortunate, to be, moshing in a mosh pit and have your neck leash pierce a hole in that. And well, there goes the inflatable hotel. They're either going to be, you get one free last ride very quickly. They're either going to go in orbit around the world, or you're going to send them up on the moon. I think that's great. That is actually better than anything that the Jetsons ever did. I think. Don't you think that?
Really,
the Jetsons never did an inflatable hotel.
You can drive an hour up the road and stay in an uncomfortable motel. You don't have to go to the moon to do that.
That's true. You could do that. And remember the ice hotels? Do you know the ice hotels in like Sweden?
I've never been.
You've seen pictures.
Oh, yes.
Yes. If you like cold martinis, that's the place to go. Well, anyway. We're going to try to get through our roster because obviously there's no space hotels in Las Cruces yet. But there is a golf course that is actually here because we were wondering, where's all the golf courses in Las Cruces? I never heard of any. Maybe Picacho Hills.
Now, is that the one that was going to be built to be swapped with the country club?
No, I don't think so.
This
is
totally different
which totally hit me by surprise that we have some private golf club being built up in the East Mesa, which is not the golf club that is going to be Las Cruces Golf Club.
It's on Arroyo Road.
Correct
I Googled it, so it's out there.
It's out
towards
way
the
out there,
Robledos.
right? Yeah. And I hear people have been there. I hear it's very nice. We just started Sonoma Ranch, right? I mean, how old is Sonoma Ranch Golf Course? 5 years max?
No, it's more like 15 years.
No way. Sonoma Ranch? I may be getting old.
It's been there a while.
So that's a nice, it looks like a nice golf course. What I care about is how good the restaurant is, because I don't care about golf. I care about the food. And I'd be willing to go to a golf course if they had a good restaurant.
They serve a lot of Red Hawk there.
Red Hawk to keep you awake? Oh, that's Red Bull.
God, get your animals straight.
Well, you're
Mandel.
the animal guy, and Mark is the animal guy. We didn't mention that there's probably a pet adoption over at the downtown mall and someplace else going on right now. But we will mention that Mark and Stephanie Medoff is going to be the name of the either new Center for the Arts at NMSU. That's Mark. He's done quite a lot for this community over the past 40 years since he was an English teacher at NMSU, turned into a very successful playwright and movie writer. He's helped a lot of people.
I have benefited from Mark's help many times over the years.
He's worked with you on a lot of your plays and
He's
movies.
directed me several times.
Yes. So we're looking forward to it. We're not sure if the Center for the Arts is going to be called that or just the theater part. We will find that out for you in a couple of years when they finally name it. I think that'll work. But we're getting a number of other things. We're getting a CVS in town, which is The first rival, the really big competition to Walgreens, how many places can you buy drugs at? But I guess if you get pissed off at Walgreens, same.
Across the street.
You just go across the street. Many people get pissed off at the government. The government is pretty much paying for Walgreens and CVS because everybody gets money for their drugs from the government. So you get pissed off at Walgreens, go to CVS. We also have a Tractor Supply store, which we're not going to show a picture of because many people
I went
don't.
to visit it.
Did you visit it?
Yeah, I got all my tractor parts there.
Did you?
We don't
Has
have
you
a
been
tractor.
having trouble getting tractor parts? I guess that's good. I foolishly went to Walgreens for my tractor parts.
Oh, and that Pros Ranch is getting close to opening. They're working like crazy on
I
that.
see that they're putting up a sign there.
A lot of
They're
people
putting up a
excited
sign.
about that.
They are. That'll take business away from. You're not excited?
No, I am.
Where are you
I-
gonna
I
buy
wanna
your
go, I want to
fresh
go. I want to go see what their
almonds?
deli's like.
I bet it'll be
I
pretty
went to a
cool.
store like that in Tucson.
So
and
that's
oh my
pretty
God,
good.
there's some good food.
Pro
there.
Deli. And apparently something called Signal Wind Energy is going to be built on the West Mesa. And energy is good. And we have to keep it energetic. So, final goodbye. Hope
Oh,
to,
do we start now? We
Yeah.
can start talking about things now?
Yeah, what would you want to talk about today?
I forget.
Okay. We're going to close. And I want to thank you for being here.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you
And,
for having me.
Anytime. We're about to shut up. Thank you for Michael Mandel and
I'm Bob.